Hey, John.
Hey, Fabio.
Hi John, hi Fabio,
Hey.
how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good as well. Do you see my desktop?
Yes.
No. Let's wait a couple of minutes. John, have you thought about Linux Foundation mentorship program ideas?
I have not talked about it, no. I mean, we talked about it here a few weeks ago, but the deadline's passed, right?
No. David wrote me in Discord that the last date is March 13. It's according to the schedule announced in the
Mm.
Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust mentorship program. I need to.
So the end of this week, yeah.
So the end date for mentors to publish the ideas is 13. We have internal discussion and we still have doubts. That's why we want support from Identus community to brainstorm the ideas. Hi, Alan.
Hello, guys.
Guys, I propose to start. Anyway, we have recording and whoever is going to join can figure out where we are. Okay. So welcome everyone to the Hyperledger Identus maintenance call. It's um, March 10th, if I'm right. Yep. And we have, as usual, our agenda. But first of all, recall of antitrust policy notice about right behavior at such kind of meetings, and the code of conduct from Hyperledger about the way how to share and distribute knowledge you get from this meeting. Sorry about this. Today's agenda is the following. In the scope of our work on integration of Identus platform with the Lace wallet, uh, Fabio composed, probably it was a couple of months ago, the specification for deterministic prism deed creation, and he's going to show the current progress and probably specification and the tools that can be used to create prism deeds. I will share some news about VDR adoption in the Cloud Agent, NeoPrism and Prism Node, and our plans regarding SDKs. And it's a last call of mentorship program, so we can figure out if we're going to apply for it or not here. Cool. I guess Fabio can start.
We probably need to skip that first topic because I was testing with Pat and we just found a bug on my side, so I need to fix it. I'm missing copying one field that is necessary to produce a valid operation. We can
Okay.
show in another time.
Okay, then we can move it to next week. But the main idea is this extension, it's organized as extension to the prisdid method. It's like a continuation of our ADR. Oh, it's not found. We need to find it. ADR's decision record about HD derivation of
I mean, I can show more or less what we were supposed to show, but it's not going to work. So if you want, I can just share my screen.
Yes, let's go for it. Hi, Elias, and hi, Pat. I will stop sharing and you can
Hello, hi guys.
pick up the screen.
Okay, let me just share the... Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
It was.
So this is basically a jar that allows us to build operations. So the idea here was just to have a simple way of installing it, so everyone could just run. In this case, I have two ways of doing it. This one I still need to update, would be to Homebrew, and another one would be with just the jar directly. So here I'm basically downloading the jar and creating an alias. And the idea is to create a did from a mononic. So I would just like, I would have this like some console line commands. So this one would create a mononic and store it. This one would allow me to create keys. So and I can specify what type of keys I needed. So I would create key by key. And then I would use this command to create to run that specs that you were showing and create the did. So I would specify which keys I want to include and which service I want to include. And this will build like two operations. So the first operation is just with the master key and nothing else. So it is deterministic because we can always calculate the same did from this total operation. And the second operation is to update the did that we just created before and modify with including all the keys and all the service and everything that we need. And basically with these two operations, we could use NeoPrisma to submit, or we could use Block for us to submit those operations as a metadata to Cardano, and will just like be indexed automatically. But yeah, as I mentioned, we just found a bug because we wanted to demo, and I'm going to try to fix after this call. Yeah. And that's it.
Oh. Okay, thank you, Fabio. Hopefully next week we will show the real demo with these tools. And where's my desktop? Here we are. Okay, second item in agenda, we finally fully integrated. There are still a couple of tiny issues to fix in NeoPrism and PrismNode regarding custom fields, but in the Cloud Agent, we added two backends. So Cloud Agent can be configured to use NeoPrism because we have plans to deprecate the PrismNode, and right now we can use either NeoPrism or PrismNode as a backend for did operations and VDR operations. So if someone is using PrismNode, it's going to be pretty easy to switch from the PrismNode to NeoPrism and have support of all operations for VDR and did method. And we started segregation of these dependencies by running two integration suits. For instance, I want to find some good example. Yep, for instance, in the main branch, we have two tests. One test, it's end-to-end test of the Cloud Agent with NeoPrism as a main API for Cardano operations and indexing. And another test is absolutely same end-to-end tests that we have for the Cloud Agent, but the backend is Prism node. It was used almost more than 4 years, I guess, for tests. So now we have these two test suites that use Cloud API Agent, but you can choose with environment variables which backend you can use, and this is going to guarantee a smooth transitioning between switching from Prism node to NeoPrism, as I told you guys. And just example, the only difference is that in one run for NeoPrism, we set up the parameters for NeoPrism version, and test config, which includes Docker Compose for NeoPrism, and for Prism node we have different config with NeoPrism, and Prism node. Yes, for Prism node we have same configuration but different environment variables. So BDR ledger driver is a Prism node for Prism node tests. And we're thinking about using NeoPrism or NeoPrism and BlockFrost to add the VDRs to our SDKs. I don't know the exactly timeline because we're doing this in background, but it's pretty possible to implement using some AI tools. Any questions so far? No? A mentorship program from Linux Foundation Decentralized Trust. We discussed this a couple of times at community meetings, and there were at least two ideas, like a model context protocol for AI agents using Identus components and Kubernetes infrastructure. I don't know, probably some more demos or more workshops. And nobody contacted me with particular ideas in Discord. So we still hesitated if we're going to apply it to this program or not. I want you guys to discuss this and make a decision today, yes, no, no, and who is going to help me to govern this program or lead this program by himself from the Identus team.
I think Elias wanted to participate. Maybe you can talk more about which is the project that he was interested in.
And I forgot to mention that, Fabio, if it makes sense, we discussed this MCP identity project.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know. I think if you go through the mentorship, the documentation, I think the ideas, as you are saying, you would have to suggest one, and I think there's two now. No, not. I've forgotten the page exactly, but I think there's a mentorship. There's a page for mentors and mentees. Yeah, I think at the top.
I guess I forgot to share my desktop. Yep. There is a timeline for mentorship program.
No, I'm talking about the ideas. I think I saw a page.
So, Elias, what do you propose?
Yeah, I think any one that you propose, I think the MCP is great, but it depends on the stack that will be used for the Kubernetes. What what do you guys intend to use?
Oh, probably a couple of months ago, we demonstrated the way how Minikube can be used together with it's actually Minikube. It's just one engine, but the main idea was to build the cloud native deployment for the Identus platform that is built using Nix and Helm charts. So Nix with Helm charts allows it to configure in a variety of ways a number of parameters, which is pretty hard to do with the plain Helm charts. And the Minikube was aimed to be leveraged for running demos, workshops, and other stuff because you can without big issues. And the idea was to have a reference configuration for production setup that anyone else can use to deploy the Identus stack to any Kubernetes cluster.
Then I think I was more geared or biased towards the MCP one. So can you, apart from the MCP for AI agents using the components,
For
those are the
MCP,
only two original ideas, right? As of now.
and the discussions. Second. Here. We had a discussion at some community calls, and Roberto started this thread.
Oh, okay. Is Roberto on the call? Or it's just two messages?
Yes.
Can you share this one so that I can
And
Yuri, let me maybe jump in and clarify what would be the best approach. So there is many things that we can build with AI, maybe something that is useful for users or for agentic flows is that we have the ability to use the SDKs through prompts and tools. So that's why I think using an MCP integration with any of the three SDKs would be something that agentic flows could benefit from. And what the MCP should do is just use one of the SDKs or use all of them at once. I don't know, whatever you think is best. And then be able to create a prism deed to issue, to verify using prompts. And then that way, whenever a model needs to authenticate or needs to verify, it will know what commands it needs to run. That's what I think the MCP should be about, but I'm happy to hear others' opinions.
You're right, but I've been thinking about this, and my question was where we can use it and how to argue that it can bring some value to the community, guys. I stuck here.
Yeah, the fact that it brings value or not, I agree, because it doesn't matter if in agentic flows. So what you want is to verify or to be able to prove that a specific AI agent created a specific response. And that's fine. But if we keep in mind that generative AI models are not deterministic, and they are constantly doing random seeds and changing the response types, there is no way actually to solve this problem in the right way.
Oh, if you are worrying about seed and randomness generation, it also might be a part of API. So you can tell your large language model to use the same MPC for generating keys or seed phrase if you cannot
Correct.
do this.
Correct. You try with the same seed and see that it will never give you the same response all the time. So even setting the seed to a hard-coded value doesn't mean that you will always get the same results. Because AI agents were built in a way that it makes human-friendly communication. And you guys probably agree that if the agent always responds you the same, that it would not look natural. And then that's why every single time that you tell the agent to respond you or answer you whatever, it always may start the message in a different way. So the response actually is the same, but the format is different, right? So then having that said, that the right way is changing how models foundation works, which I don't think that makes sense. Maybe one baby step that we can do is add MCP so that other agentic tools can prove that somebody sent a message, but you will never know that that message was created in Gemini 2.0 or whatever. As far as we understand the limitations of MCP in agentic solutions, I think, look, on top of building agentic solutions, I think this would bring value to the ecosystem because people are every day increasing the usage of AI models. And the fact that we have a simple MCPD service that people can just use to make consuming the SDKs faster, I think that definitely brings value because it cuts the time developers will need to spend building AI, building identity solutions.
Yeah, I agree.
So not so much for building something that proves that the message is from a model, but something that helps developers integrate Identus faster. And that's of value, for sure.
I think it could also bridge documentation. So as you said, it will cut developer time into half. So it will help people, I mean, know what identity is about very quickly. Yeah, so I think for that one too, I think that's also valuable as people.
I'm not sure I heard your last message. If you can repeat and
Oh, I said that I just AI agent or the AI is non-deterministic, right? It could also help with documentation. The MCP could also help with document. I don't know if AI agents could replace documentation or they could help somebody understand the project or what it is about earlier on. Or I don't know if it will be a feature in addition to the AI agent. But I think, as he said, cutting developer time or helping people on board to Identus components very faster and easier, it will bring a lot of value. So that's why I said.
So, as far as I know, there are three different concerns. One concern is to use SDK and create MCP to create it, schemas, credentials, participating protocols. It's focused on function and identity functionality. Another aspect was related to, from my point of view, because I have to read this specification one more time, and probably Fabio can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is extension to the model context protocol powered by identity. So each agent and other party leverage DID or any other type of identity, and you can validate the messages that sends between the agent, and it's focused on the transport and authenticity of the messages between the large language model and MPC server.
Can
And
you show a little bit more of that documentation, Yuri, now together?
yes, I can try it.
So we are talking about three different things.
That's what I want to say. Three different things.
So the first thing that Roberto and me were talking about was to build a MCP for the, or would be for the cloud agent, or would be for the command console that I was creating. But the idea is to eliminate what you were saying, Javi, by having an MCP, is that the cloud, the AI is not, it's it's like functions that the AI can use. So it would, or will use and be correct, or will not use it at all. So there is no way on being like wrong on that case. It's not like generating code where AI have much more.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
So the other thing that you are suggesting is not to build a MCP, it's to build a context to give it's just like a documentation to give the AI and ask the AI to then produce code. So that was what you're suggesting. And this is what Yuri was showing.
Sorry, Fabio, I don't fully agree. Like MCP is not only for what you described. Well, one very good example is there is a package for workspaces in Node.js that it's called NX, and there is an NX MCP that helps you develop. So if you have a problem with integrating something in NX, what you can do is talk to this MCP tool, and the MCP tool helps you solve the problems because it has the context it needs inside. I agree we are talking about different things. Yeah.
MCP is functions in this core, is functions that the model can call.
Correct.
So, for example, if the AI wants to know the date that it is right now, it can call like some MCP that has that date, and it will not be wrong, or will not call, or will call and be correct. So it's no way to
Correct, but
be
imagine what I'm saying is that the second MCP tool thing that I'm thinking of is something that would have a set of tools to get knowledge of the repositories or the project itself and would give you the answer that it needs or that the user is asking for, which is, I understand that it's not the same, but yeah, I think it's doable also.
Okay, but that is like creating a context to give the AI.
Yeah, more or less. More or less.
The MCP that you could use would be something like context 7. That is a MCP exactly
such
for
many
that.
of varieties. It's I cannot define the right issue under.
So
for me to argue.
No. Go ahead.
No, sorry, Fabio. You can continue.
So I was just giving the example of context 7. That is exactly MCP to get context from some repository or some project. So it's to help you developing, but you need to develop the documentation to give to context 7.
That is correct.
And the other thing that Yuri was showing, MCP-I, it's a new protocol that is not MCP. It's a new protocol that has basically it has it helps with authentication and and delegation of permissions. So some MCP, let's say, that the AI could call some MCP that would call another service, and basically you pass the permission to the AI, and the AI would call another service and pass the permission to that service. Would be some type of authorization or delegation of and basically that is part of, it's a new project that exists on Diff, that is part of it's under the Linux Decentralized Foundation umbrella. And I was
Fabio,
asking them if they
this
are
one,
participating on this mentorship program.
this
they
one is
still
for
didn't reply.
MCPI, you mean, right? It's from
Yes.
Div?
This
Yeah.
one, yes.
Yuri, do you mind opening a little bit or get started or something to see?
Oh, it's just the beginning of this journey. So there is Python SDK and TypeScript SDK, but it's just mocked text. You cannot install it. Coming soon.
I mean, we could collaborate with them if they are doing something open.
So I asked on Discord if they are participating on this mentorship program, but they still didn't reply. And if they are participating, we could pretty much help them build the layer of the identity layer with the did Prisma. Currently, they have only did keys and did web. I'm not sure, but they will. The goal is from them to have did web, but we could help them, or someone could just like build with did Prisma.
Yeah, I agree. And does this thing have the same limitation I was describing about? I guess yes, right?
It depends.
What limitation?
The limitation of, so this is not to prove that a specific agent or model returned you a specific response. It is to prove other things, right?
Is to delegate authority, for what I could understand from it.
Okay.
Authorization.
We can wait for reply in Discord, and Fabio can share with us if we can apply for it or not.
We can also try reaching out to Rai, and see if he can help us establish contact with them.
And the main questions, guys, that I want us to figure out is why are we doing this, and what problem it can help us to solve.
I think you could go to the as I was saying, the selection process and criteria. I think what you are trying to say is enumerated there. Well,
Do you mean
for
this link?
mentors, no, for mentors. Yeah, that one. If you scroll down, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a nice criteria.
I think as Fabio puts it, the first one, the MCP could help, for the first objective, that's to spring as a springboard to onboard new contributors or probably new people who want to use Identus. I think that MCP will serve that purpose.
Okay, I propose to continue this conversation in Discord, wait for potential response from MCP ID. Where is it? This one. MCPI guys. And ping me if you are willing to help me to submit the proposal. Okay.
But Yuri, you don't submit anything. Like somebody else from the community submits the proposal, and what you need to do is support them. But I
Well,
don't think we need to do the proposal itself. Like we are the mentors, so the only thing that we need to do is mentorship.
yep. Where is proposal?
Wait, I'm confused. So how would the people know? Because you're saying you're not supposed to submit, or you in particular is not supposed to submit anything.
Yes, as far as I know, we have to submit it. Have it.
Yeah,
But
I
then
think
who is
so.
the mentor? Who is the mentor then?
No,
Identus maintainers.
But if
yeah.
you are doing, but what sense does this have? You are the same mentor that develops the proposal, so you mentor yourself.
No. We create proposal, we submit it, and Linux Foundation finds mentees for us. We're going to deliver it. We're going to support them and control the execution. And Linux Foundation is going to fund this.
That's not what I understood, but I can be wrong.
Why? It's slightly similar as a Project Catalyst.
It would slightly different. Like what I understood it is that we can mentor people that wants to extend and make identity or Identus better, but it doesn't make sense in my head that the same people that create the proposal are the same ones that are going to be mentoring the proposal also. Like our role would be to mentor the people to develop that proposal. That's
why we have this conversation.
So the way it works is that the maintainers propose something, and they are the mentors. And if someone appears to do the execution, you basically be the mentor of them, of those mentees. So you need to propose something as the maintainer of the project. The thing
if you
is,
guys
we don't want to expend time proposing if we are not having no one that wants to implement it. So we are trying to like discuss what makes sense to propose. And since Elias wanted to develop something, we were like asking if those projects make sense or not. So it's a discussion basically that we are having, but we need to like do it fast since the deadline is this Friday, I think.
Do you understand now?
First, I remember.
Sorry.
I just wanted to highlight that probably 2 years ago, guys from Firefly that supports kind of different blockchains under universal API. It's mostly for transactions. I guess it's something similar to Blockfrost, but Blockfrost is focused on Cardano, and this is kind of multi-chain as far as I remember. And they proposed us to collaborate with them to do particular stuff, but I don't know if it makes sense. It just flashback to share with you. Because I see that these issues are created like scalable verifiable credentials or some benchmarking. Next generation here SDK architecture. Oh, guys, we still have V2. We can.
The Jeff factory.
Sorry, you know what I mean, yeah?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
To be honest, I don't feel with enough capability right now to create the proposal and execute it and have to mentor.
Um,
If
if
you
we are
guys think
brainstorm,
that we can, then let's go ahead. But yeah,
Harry, we can try to create a proposal for SDK TS refactoring to have a couple of different models, packages that can be used independently based on your setup, like switch between Blockfrost, some SIP30, and probably NeoPrism components, etc., and have different packages that you can choose for your application, if it makes sense. We can call it SDKTS V3.
I don't know.
Sense or not? Probably not.
I mean, making maybe doing a proposal, something that would make sense that we had in our heads some time ago was making the SDK agnostic in the blockchain that it's being used. At the same time, this is a huge piece of work. Like really huge, because right now the PrismDID specification mentions specifically that it's anchored on Cardano blockchain. So yeah, it's not so simple. Like the SDKs are foundationally designed and built in a way that it would be easy, hypothetically, to make them multi-chain. But there is a lot of things that we would need to figure out. Like how is a deed. So imagine that you create a deed that is anchored to Cardano, and now you imagine that you want to publish this same deed on Ethereum. How would that deed change its reference? Because again, right now we are assuming that the deed is in Cardano, but what if it's not? We also don't specify in PrismDID, maybe Fabio or Yuri, correct me if I'm wrong, but we also don't specify the Cardano network. So PrismDID specification states or assumes that the deed is published on mainnet. And if not, it's you who choose where to resolve it or publish it. But there's nothing in the deed string itself that mentions what blockchain and what network ID. Like the first thing that we would need to work on is changing the deed spec to allow publishing a deed on a different network. But do we want to do that now? Is the other topic.
About this, and in Prism deed spec, there's a clear statement that this deed should be published in the mainnet, and all other are
exactly.
just for their purpose. So I don't
Exactly.
think it makes sense to change this.
Well, what you know that we have this derivation path and all this kind of stuff, right? What we could try and modify is the derivation path. So it includes information of what network that deed was issued on. But again, this is a foundational change. Are we ready to work on that with all the things that we have?
Sorry, I don't want to commit to this.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
my
That's my opinion, Yuri. I agree with you. I'm just saying, if we wanted to make it chain agnostic, this is what we need to do. Not saying that this makes sense. I don't like it. Then MCP brings value. Well, yes, kind of. But at the same time, you can also. So it depends, right? There is two MCPs. The one that is for agentic flows that has tools to create stuff, verify stuff, issue credentials. And second one, the MCP that helps you resolve problems with Identus. And yeah, to be honest, the first one would be a big challenge, but it doesn't bring much value. And the second one maybe brings value, but at the same time, there is tons of other tools that people can use to figure out how to do stuff in TS or stuff in JVM or stuff in Swift SDK. Yuri, you know a couple of tools that you can basically pass a repository, right? And that you can start making questions about the project.
Yep.
You showed me in the past. I don't remember.
Deep, thick. No, it's deep.
Deep wiki.
Deep wiki.
Yeah.
Yes, this one.
Oh, this is because you configured it already, right?
Yep. We configured it for repositories.
So then this in my opinion is the replacement for the MCP tool that I was saying that only manages context. Like people do not need another MCP to do this, right?
Yes, that's why I'm slightly concerned about building MCP.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't think they bring much.
Okay. So then that leaves us with the Kubernetes infrastructure.
I guess it's also not easy. Yes, Kubernetes infrastructure. We need to spend some time with Spot to define the criteria. Probably we can try to do this tomorrow. But
More time.
it might be too complex, I guess. But correct me if I'm wrong.
I probably agree, yeah.
Yep,
Oh.
probably.
And
Right.
what about what if you know that we were discussing, can we build a UI for the agent?
I thought about building UI based on your offline first demos. So use SDKTS and
The,
build a
the
web
code,
application for issuer, for verifier to configure some setup.
I mean, that code is mostly done. Like whoever that works on that has my reference implementation to finish it. So that would be a cheap, easy way to get a proposal out, maybe that brings value.
I mean,
Yes.
we can open source the code that we have, and someone could like train to do it, to make it simple. It's more removing features than adding stuff. Or am I talking about the another project? You're
No,
talking about the UI of the cloud agent, right?
I was talking about that, but then Yuri said that we could also use some kind of offline first UI, but that already exists.
Yeah, based on SDKTS.
Correct.
Application for issuers and the verifiers to set up DIT, to create a schema, to choose credential type.
So there is a lot of projects here. We need to
I
decide
know.
if we are going to participate or not. But Elias is, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Maybe you can now give your opinion. What would you like to do and what it makes sense for you?
Honestly, I don't really have, because as the proposal said, everything must come from the what's it called? When I went to the meeting, last week's meeting, they were like
Mhm.
everything should come from the teams. So they already had some team members, people who had participated and people who had, what's it called? People who were maintainers. So I didn't really sit down to have like have a plan or have a vision for this, honestly. So I think I wanted to go along with the MCP, but from what we've discussed, I think we already have solutions regarding that. I mean, not entirely full solutions, but I mean the main functionality. I mean, some of the solutions that we've discussed, it works. So I don't know. For now, I honestly don't know. So I think the Kubernetes tool, from what Yuri is saying, it's a bit big. I've not used Kubernetes before, but I know it's really huge. It's really used for huge stuff. So um, that's it for me, I think.
And what about the other two that would be like relatively simple things that we could achieve, right? One would be to create the UI for the cloud agent, which existed in the past, but right now it doesn't exist. What this means is currently the cloud agent exposes an API. What we need is to build a UI that uses this API to show it fancy in a way that users no longer need to go. They can just deploy this UI and get stuff done quicker.
Have you read and you read that we have this code in private repositories?
I'm not sure if we have it anymore, but we need to
I
double
guess
check.
we have. And probably it's possible to use this UI to switch between Cloud Agent or SDK offline first solution, if it makes sense, and have this API agnostic for custodial and non-custodial solutions. But it's also a big piece of work from my point of view.
The cloud agent UI, you mean?
Do you remember manage on board and all
Yes,
this?
yes, of course, of course.
I'm talking about these things.
But this is not huge. This at the end is implementing a UI for an API client.
Yeah, I think with the I don't know, but the project timeline I think it's more than 3 months, 3, 4, 5 months. They said at the meeting. So I don't know, maybe you guys are thinking huge in terms of timeline or
Yeah, the more I start thinking on having let's not call it offline first and let's not call it manage, but a unified UI that works either offline first or works for the cloud agent. This is of huge value because in one shot,
Yep,
we
you're
have
right.
UI for the agent and we have a UI for people that don't want to use the agent but want to use it on the browser. This would take around 3 months for sure, and we do have reference code, so people will not start from scratch. And I think Elias, with his knowledge and AI tools, could probably finalize and contribute to that pretty easily, because we are not talking about really complex stuff that we don't have examples for. Like offline first, I can share with him the whole repository that I did, and he can copy absolutely everything. And this is of big value for us because we will have something that people can deploy and configure to either work on a browser or work for the cloud agent. Like one single UI for both. That's what I would think.
Yeah, I propose this. Let's discuss this idea tomorrow internally and share our thoughts in Discord. I propose to close the meeting because we are running out of time. But I guess we had a really good conversation and brainstorming about the programs. Last words, would you like to share something, guys?
Not really.
I think
Okay, then
you could add it to the what the offline UI, you could add it to the slide. I don't know after, so that for
Sir
Can I-
Elias, can you repeat, please?
I was saying that you could add what was said, the offline UI, to the slide. Like you could edit it and add it. Yeah. Do you understand?
Oh, it was another interruption, I guess. Or it's something wrong on my end. Can you?
I'll type it in the chat.
Elias. Okay, contact me in Discord and we can continue our conversation here, and we will update tomorrow based on our internal conversation.
Elias, if you want me to give you access to the link on the repository, yeah, write us on Discord, and I will be happy to share you everything.
Yep. Okay, thank you guys for your time, and as usual, see you in 1 week. It was
Thank you,
interesting
Yuri.
conversation today. Bye
Good
bye.
night.